Hello and welcome. My screen name is Covert Muffin, and we're going to be kicking off the Ori and the Blind Forest All Skills Tournament matches for the day with MrRandomson versus Evooki. But I could not cast these games alone, and so join with me is my none other than compatriot, my co-leader of Team Forlorn. It's Elo Jiminy. How are you doing, man?
Hi, Muffin. I'm doing pretty good. And yes, Team Fallen One strikes again. We are reunited. But I'm really excited for these games today. We've got two amazing competitors, and it should be a good race, I'm hoping.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting looking at these group standings. Currently, Roos is up 2-0 in the group with the best race time of 33:11, and MrRandomson is only 32 seconds behind that with the best race time. So if MrRandomson's able to go up for 2-1 exiting the group stage, this could be pretty big for him, especially if he could improve his best race time. That being said, Evooki is also looking to put a win on the board for him. Even though, as we'll see, MrRandomson definitely is favored to win the match today because his PB is significantly better, but I'm really excited to see what comes out of our two runners.
Yeah, we've not seen anything from Evooki so far, so it'll be interesting to see how he handles the tournament situation. But let's talk about some things that we can see on the screen right now. As we see from Evooki, he's using a hybrid of controller and KBM, so he'll be switching throughout the run depending on which style suits what area he's in at that moment. We see a little bit less of the tricks from Evooki, so he's going for the clean water skip, so we'll see the difficult entry of Swamp earlier than we would normally. And it looks like he's going for the same amount of health, and he's a veteran vanilla runner, so it'll be interesting to see if his basic movement is a lot better, as we didn't really have dash in the vanilla version, so he's got a lot more practice with just the basic movements. Would you like to tell us about MrRandomson?
Yeah, sure, let's do it. So his current PB is at 32:45, and so his best race time is actually really, really close to that, so that's pretty impressive out of MrRandomson. That's not easy to do. He's going to be using K&M, and yeah, he's doing all the tricks, and he's getting all the health. Skipping clean water requires us to pick up some extra health cells, but he's actually going to be picking up one more, it looks like, for a little bit of safety in the final escape. I like this decision, especially for like a tournament setting as well. And he's actually neighbors with Brynhold, who is another competitor in the tournament. But so also another miscellaneous fact is he lost to Roos in last year's tournament. And so both of them being in the group is pretty awesome to see them still in such close standings, especially with their best race time. But really excited to see what they bring out. I'm just going to ping the runners to see if they're ready to go underway and start this race. And then we will go for it.
Yeah, I also left out the miscellaneous fact of Evooki. He also ran Shovel Knight, which I have recently picked up. It is an amazing speed game. I was speaking to him earlier, and he hasn't played it all that much, but it's nice to have multiple speed games under your belt in this situation.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Like, speedrunning is pretty universal in the fact that you learn some really intense tricks, and then you optimize your general movement and such. And so being in a game like Shovel Knight, which is very, very dependent on those tiny little timings when you start your jump, when you do certain actions in order to manipulate your position and meet cycles, it's really awesome to see what he's going to be able to bring to the table from that. And it looks like we're underway. So MrRandomson's going to be in the left side of your screen, and Evooki is going to be over on the right. If you've never seen Ori and the Blind Forest before, don't worry. We'll be giving you race updates as we go through. And then on the bottom of your screen, in the middle of these two circles, you're going to see a first place and a second place designator that will be updated live as we progress through the race.
Yeah, it looks like we had a little bit of trouble from Evooki. There is such thing as a long load, so if it's the first time that you've loaded the game without actually playing anything of the save files, you'll get a little bit of a longer load there. I think it was that and not just a sync situation, so he has got a little bit of a deficit already, but not too much at the start, and it's all to play for in the closing minutes.
Yeah, for sure. MrRandomson showing off some swag here, using something known as a color code in order to change the color of Ori at certain parts in the run. His current color is going to be green, and we're going to see how that changes throughout the rest of the match. But do you want to sort of talk about Frankie optimization here?
Yes, so it depends on if Evooki is using the KBM or controller at this moment. There's two methods, one which is shot pacing, which is generally used on the controllers, and then the KBMs usually will bind their shots to the mouse wheel. It looks like MrRandomson was using that technique as we see multiple shots coming out at the same time. So that little bit of KBM prowess will give him a minor victory on any sort of shot taking.
Yeah, MrRandomson's going to be pretty happy with that opener. Ooh, Evooki actually missing one pace shot on a Frankie, so he had to turn around a little bit and kill that Frankie before progressing through to trigger that cutscene. And so that's a little bit of loss in time, but that's okay. Like in Glades, the lead shouldn't really change too much, and the distance between the runners, I'm guessing, will be with a couple of seconds. Just because we still don't have a lot of the movement tech yet, and the tricks are too bad. But managing health, we're going to be going up for a trick called Ghost Door, where we're going to take an intentional death in order to open the door a little bit quicker. We're going to see how MrRandomson was able to optimize his health if he dies immediately. Oh no, it looks like he had a little bit of extra health, so he didn't die as quickly as he intended to do. And so that was just a little bit of time loss, but not too bad.
Yeah, it's quite a risky situation. You want to get as low health as possible, but you kind of don't want to die, so getting down to 1 is a little bit dangerous, so you may have took a little bit of safety in the early game just not to die and just kept it at 2, played it safe.
Yeah, and further murdering some woodland creatures. He's actually going to, still get the Sealing Flower. Interesting. So maybe he's just using that Frankie EXP that he picked up earlier to supplement, because he recognized he was a little bit low. But now we see Evooki also heading up to the 4th health cell, pretty close behind, but MrRandomson's still in the lead.
Yeah, it's still about the same distance as the start, so he's playing well. He's taking a little bit of damage there. He has to be careful with this bramble wall at the moment. Unfortunately, he gets an early level up. Usually, we would save this early level up for the brambles that you see just now on the left-hand side. So he's killing them, unfortunately. Will lose a little bit of time to that. So if Evooki can get the level up on time, he may just bring some of that lead back.
Oh yeah, nice instant replay in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Just he just took an unintended damage there, and that stopped him from being able to damage boost through the spores. And so, as the 0 XP runners know in the community, these experience points can be really hard to dodge because they lock on when you're close enough to them. But MrRandomson grabbing a wall jump, going to get a little bit of verticality from this and jump up and grab the energy cell. Besides that slip up, weeding down for the unintentional level up, he's had a pretty heckin' good pace so far going through this early Glades. But now he's going to have to, unfortunately, pace these spores down here in order to get through. But wow, falling down, he actually killed off the slime. And so he didn't have to end up killing it there. So really nice adaptation from MrRandomson to mitigate some of that time loss from the unintentional level up.
Yeah, it looks like he was thinking about that backup on the fly, and it worked perfectly. Evooki actually did get the time to level up, so he has made up a little bit of time here, and he's closing the gap, so hopefully we won't see any floods in any of BRB, and the lead will not probably change at all at this moment. He's having a little bit of trouble on the right-hand side, took a bit of damage, but with 4 health, it shouldn't be too much of a problem for him.
Yeah, so a really spooky thing is up here, he actually has to take an intentional damage boost in order to get past these 2 slimes. So Evooki going to be at 1 health. We're going to see if he ends up taking any safety health. Oh, it just barely gets over the slime. Nicely done. That is definitely a structured movement. Yeah, look at this. I like this from Evooki to play it safe and grab the safety health.
Yeah, there's actually another safety save that you can make up here. At the moment, we have enough energy to make a safety save, as we'll be leveling up a little bit further into BRB, so some players do actually choose to do this. I think Sigma tried to figure out if it was actually viable, and it is. We have an extra energy that we don't use, so he could have even went even more safe and put a safety save there.
Yeah, and here we go. Looks like MrRandomson is going to be jumping down here. He's not doing the slime genocide rep, so he's going to jump up and grab that 100 EXP orb. And look at that safety save. I like this tournament decision making that you were just talking about, Ella, where we have that extra safety save, so we may as well just drop it down, right?
Yeah, you see quite a lot of the players these days. You get this free save, so you may as well put it into BRB. There's lots of spikes that can kind of just kill you instantly, or just certain jumps that may lead to a lot of time loss. So having that little bit of safety there is free, and it just takes the load off BRB, which is quite a spooky area.
Yeah, and ooh, look at this cycle manipulation here from MrRandomson, dropping the save and quitting out and reloading. So he's going to try and... Oh, MrRandomson falling down slightly. Oh, but he's going to get out. I don't know. I might have just taken an intentional death there or just quit out and reload to get that same cycle. Because now that cycle manipulation he just did there is... going to be completely different than what he's practiced in the past. So we're going to see how MrRandomson adapts as Evooki close behind Elo. He actually closed a lot of distance from that fall down from MrRandomson.
Yeah, that cost him a lot of time. It definitely would have been quicker to either save to reload the save file or just to kill Ori right there. He lost a lot of time to Evooki there, so it's given him a big chance to catch up.
Yeah, but wow, look at that. Nice cycle manip also from MrRandomson, just saving. Did he save at the top and quit out, or did he just have a good cycle? I actually don't know.
It was just a good cycle. The fact that he saved before that is the place where he chose to do it. So if you do it there, you don't do it any further in the room.
Oh, okay. Thank you, thank you.
There's like 3 different places where you can choose to save, and he chose that.
Right. Yeah, for sure. MrRandomson looks like he's going to manipulate these cycles in the next room, and yep, nice and clean. He's going to be able to get up there. Evooki also doing a good job here, just catching a cycle. I think he had to wait for a little bit, so not as quite as clean as MrRandomson for those cycles, but that's still okay. He was able to get through that same section without falling down or anything. Nicely done from Evooki, being able to stabilize after taking some unintentional damage earlier on. That can really shake you up.
Yeah, he's taken a little bit more safely. He did wait a long time on that platform cycle, so he was just making sure that in this next room he will definitely hit the cycle, which is nice to see. He's not taken any deaths so far, which is all you can really ask for in the start of the race, because it can be just demotivating, and just to take a couple seconds out on safety strats pays off dividends.
Yeah, for sure. And so we see MrRandomson doing another we see him doing another cutscene skip in order to get access to Dash 3, and then he's going to head over for his attempts at Frankie Walk and Death Gauntlet movement. That being said, though, Evooki also just about to skip the Darkness cutscene, because every time we level up, it fully refills health and energy, but it also ends up getting us an ability point. So we're able to spend that ability point, as you see on the right, by opening the ability menu, doing some precise inputs, and then leveling up the ability after a certain part of the cutscene in order to skip it. Nicely done from both runners to be able to show off this tech.
Yeah, so hopefully MrRandomson has kept his experience in check. I know he did level up earlier in Glades, as we mentioned, so if that's affected this part at all, it will be detrimental to his run. I hope he has, and we will see very shortly.
Yeah, when he checked his experience, it looked okay, and he did a really good job of being really cognizant of that. And so here we're going to see him bring over the Frankie, and with Magnet, this is going to be a lot easier than some of the Magnet-less stuff we see the other runners doing.
Crazy, oh my God. People, crazy people.
It's so crazy, but yeah, there he goes. He gets the level up, going to open that energy door, which is a huge sequence break for us. And then let's see if he's going to get through. Ooh, that was a little spooky because he only got 1 pace off on that middle pace, but able to get through Death Gauntlet, and so he's going to come up to an energy cell and then be able to probably drop a safety save. I imagine he will.
Yeah, definitely. We see most runners do that. But on the right side, we actually saw Evooki take another little bit of safety. It only cost him a couple of seconds, but it put his save way closer than it would normally. So if he was to take a death here, he wouldn't spend as much time trying to catch up to where he died to, which is just another small thing that makes you much more at ease with the race situation.
Yeah, and wow, look at that, MrRandomson catching a really good crusher cycle there. That is a really precise jump, and he was actually able to save like 8 seconds or so from that. So that is a huge maneuver, and that's going to be able to catapult him further ahead.
We actually saw Evooki dropped the experience from the Frankie, so he tried to go down to get it, as you can see on the replay here. He tried to do it, he got down, he got back up, but only managed to put 4 experience in the door, which is just 1 away from how many we actually need to, unfortunately.
Oh, that's so difficult. And here, no surprise, MrRandomson is pulling ahead. He was absolutely favored from the start, and we're going to see some excellent mid-game movement from him using double jump.
Yeah, double jump's kind of cool. Single jumps are not as fun, and makes wall climbing a lot quicker with double jump. You can actually do some really cool optimizations with ninja jumping. I don't think we'll see this from either runner, but it's just cool effects that you can get with double jump.
Yeah, pretty clean movement from Randomson so far, and just barely missing the double jump out of there, but wow, he still catches the pixel second try, and he's able to complete grotto skip second try, so really nice, clean mid-game from MrRandomson. Struggled a tiny bit in the early game when that Glades with the unintentional level up, but he's not letting any of the nerves affect him, and he's out to win this.
Yeah, definitely, and Evooki has made it through on the second try of the Frankie Walk, gets it through the Death Gauntlet, and we'll see if he actually goes for the God Cycle here. I'm not sure that he will, but looking at the dashes, it's possible.
Oh, yeah.
Just a little bit of flip on the wall. He put in an extra jump, which means the God Cycle, which is very precise, cannot be made.
Yeah, for sure. And so MrRandomson just collecting Water Vein is now going to be working up. And watching like a top tier runner like you, Elo, go through this section is always so impressive because like how you pace and space out your jumps on these walls really affects and saves you split seconds here, split seconds there. And it can be really, really amazing how much time you can save, but also how much time you can lose.
Yeah, it's very interesting how just basic movement can save or lose you so much time. So it's a really fun place to optimize because it's just full of wall jumps and you don't really get the same wall jumping anywhere else in the game.
Yeah, for sure. And so here we see MrRandomson with an intentional level up, and Evooki has made it to double jump tree. He's also going for the blind movement, so we're going to see exactly where he ends up when the cutscene pans back to him. Oh, he fell into the poison water, so he took a little bit of damage. As long as he's careful here, though, this is not going to be a problem for him. Yeah, it looks like he's good so far. Is he can get past the spikes? Yeah, I like that. A little bit of safety jumping up and landing on the right side in order to get past there. Nice adaptation from Evooki after that spooky scenario.
Yeah, and on the left we see MrRandomson just dashing his way through these spooky, spiky cycles, and he'll take a little bit of damage here. It's just quicker than actually killing the slime and making his way to the Ginso tree.
Nice, and Evooki's doing a little bit of a different setup here. Oh no, he gets a platform swinging yellow. This can be so tough to work with.
Yeah, today I was actually having a lot of trouble with that, but you get it first try, even with a swinging platform. That is so good to see.
That's so impressive from Evooki. First of all, that jump is really hard from the get-go when the platform's standing still, but him just getting that first try is really awesome to see, especially a little bit of the shakiness coming out of the Frankie Walk scenario for him, but he's reestablished his focus and done an excellent job so far in this mid-game scenario.
Yeah, we also see MrRandomson carrying on that color change that you mentioned at the start. He did it again, so now he's little blue. Takes a little bit of damage to that Gima, which puts him off his cycles. Fortunately, he manipulates them fine and is through the major damage sections, going on his way to Bash.
Yeah, and you'll notice like Ginso Tree is a vertical dungeon in general, and every time you take damage, there's a little bit of that knockback and stun effect. And oh, MrRandomson, please! I need to stop saying the D word.
Oh my!
Oh no! So if you don't know, there's a little bit of a commentator's curse in Ori. Every single time you say damage, what'll end up happening is one of the runners either takes a little bit of unintended damage or takes a huge death. And, oh man, I'm trying not to have a repeat performance of last night when me and Sigma were casting.
Oh god, I've cursed so many people in this tournament. I've decided to stop saying that word ever. Yeah. So we see MrRandomson on the left-hand side. He's trying to get this boss as quick as he can. It's the only real source of RNG in this game, so it can come out of any of the 5 places, and he did very well. I think he got like a 6 cycle there, which is respectable for any runner.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, especially with the tournament nerves on the line. And so we see Evooki now making his way to Swamp Teleport. A little bit of struggle, double jumping with some precise jumps at certain moments, but able to just reset his positioning and get through. And MrRandomson's going to take a little bit of intentional pain on the left-hand side of your screen, and then he's going to be doing a ghost door in order to get through. Oh, it looks like his health management was a tiny bit off, so he had to take 2 damage boosts in order to get through, and now he's at Bash.
Nice. I would like to say that the stats guide have informed me I was incorrect. He actually got an amazing 5 cycle, which is pretty optimal.
Yeah, that's good. Like, there's only a couple of people who I know consistently go for the 4 cycle, and so that's really impressive to see MrRandomson be able to clinch that out.
Yeah, and we see Evooki entering the Ginso, so he's caught up to the same area as MrRandomson, however he still is quite far behind, and MrRandomson is on blistering pace. He's actually only 15 seconds behind his PB at Bash, so he is having the run of his life at the moment.
Yeah, I like this decision-making from MrRandomson to just play it safe. I think he accidentally took a little bit of damage he wasn't intending to do, so instead what he's going to do is just place the save a little bit lower and not go for a difficult 2-second time save. But here we go, he's going for a key dupe. He has to be very close to the door. Yeah, he still gets it, so that intentional death is going to store the keys in his inventory as Evooki now is heading through Ginso Tree and had a pretty clean first 2 rooms. Nicely done from Evooki.
Yeah, it's just beautiful to see people move cleanly through this. It's commentator's curse is trying to strike again. Muffin, stop saying nice things about people.
Yeah, maybe that's my commentator's curse, is I say nice things about people and then they end up taking horrible deaths. They're like, stop being so supportive of me.
Not allowed nice things in Ori.
Yeah.
So Evooki is just placing the teleporting blocks in the correct places for him to get to the mini-boss. Let's see how he does on his cycles. It is quite a bit more difficult with his shot pacing as well. I just want to add that before he does it.
Yeah, for sure. And so we see MrRandomson now, instead of traveling up in order to do the Ginso tree escape, which is what you normally see, he's going to be doing a little bit of a different route in order to get to Stomp Tree. Because after the Ginso tree escape, it teleports you to a certain section in Swamp, but we can get to that same part a little bit faster. And so he's going to do a little bit of blind movement here, just saving and rekindling to resave in the cutscene, and then he's going to be going off. So while he's doing this, he's doing blind movement. If you see any red flashes, that's a little bit of a misstep, and that's him taking damage. But it looks like he got through there very cleanly. Yeah, I like this decision from MrRandomson too, to take a few seconds in order to place the safety save, so he doesn't have to do that blind movement. Misses this trick, because this has some pretty precise bash angles.
Yeah, and whilst you're doing the blind movement, if you take a death, you can actually soft block the game. So it's nice to take that little bit of safety. Please, frog.
Wow, 2 shots from the frog traveling through the breakable floor instead of procking damage onto it. Unbelievable, having 2 in a row there. Yeah, this is just Ori. This just happens, but this is Randomson. Nicely done. He gets it second try. He was doing something known as a double bash, where if you release the bash and then reactivate it 1 frame later, you can shove the shot in a different direction. Or no, you shove Ori in a different direction, but the shot is unaffected by that. So we can sort of get some extra movement maneuvers out of that. So we'll probably be seeing a bunch of those from MrRandomson throughout the rest of them.
Yeah, there's a few areas that we will see it in, but generally double bashes are just beautiful. Only on KBM though, so Evooki may not be able to do some of them, as he will be on controller for a lot of this, I imagine. As we see him do the key dupe, hopefully you won't take any unnecessary D word. And
yeah, alright, you got the key in the door. Oh no, he had too much help. Alright, there we go.
He got the perfect key dupe. He has 3 more keys in his inventory, and he will be collecting them and heading on out of the Ginso tree.
Wow, and listen to this, guys. We're getting word from our stats folk that MrRandomson is actually 5 seconds behind his PB at Stomp Tree. This, of course, means that... Oh, wow, nice safety save from him. This means that he is, A, ahead of his best race time right now, but also, B, he could actually close out a PB in this race right now. That is so hype.
Yeah, that's really exciting, and with all these safety saves, he's giving him no real chance to take big deaths that might cost him that PB, so they're not really costing him any time to do it, and we see him totally conquer the Kuro cutscene skip, so you actually saw nothing. That's a good thing, and he's just on his way to the 7th pickup, which is Sea Flame.
Yeah, it's a really precise trick, and so it's very important that you actually nail that positioning. MrRandomson putting on a clinic. Nice safety save from him. He's actually just going to have to watch a cutscene after he gets up here. Nice. Yeah, he gets over the instant death. Woo! Pit taking a little bit of pain train, but that's okay. He's just going to watch this cutscene and then move on to Sea Flame. As Evooki now is going to be doing his own attempt at blind movement.
Did you see that micro ledge?
Yes.
There's so many micro ledges in the game. I've never seen that one, so that's the reason why he gets the damage. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've seen that one a few times.
Caused him to wall run instead of wall jump. So I've not seen that one before. It's terrifying.
Yeah. So Evooki nailing the blind movement is now going to do his own attempts at Swamp Entry. Let's see how he does. Oh, so the frog took a little bit of a swim there, took a little bit of a bath, but that's okay. He placed a safety save, so just a quick death, and he's going to be able to reset the trick.
Yeah, it looks like he's doing it on the controller, so we'll be seeing a little bit of a different strat from him. He won't be doing any double bashes. He'll be bashing this frog over and taking him down, and then setting him up so he can just shoot at the ceiling himself.
Yeah, nicely done. So bashing up this shot, and then he's going to bash Ori up. Ooh, that might be a little too low. Yeah, it is. So he's just missed the timing very, very slightly. And nice adjustment from Evooki in order to be able to get in there second try. That's really awesome. And then the safety save. I like this a lot.
Yeah, those safe saves are paying off. He knows where he might have trouble, and he's just cancelling out with these saves. So on the left-hand side, we see MrRandomson in Valley of the Wind. This is where 2 big tricks are. So we're going to see him do a fast stompless, which is a very precise bash angle, and then a movement after it to get an ability cell, which if you screw up, can cost you quite a lot of time, unless he has another backup strat.
Yeah, this is big for MrRandomson. If he's going to be able to nail this trick, he's setting himself up into the late game well. That shot looks good, and the angle looks good, so let's see if he's going to be able to make it over to the ability cell in time. Yeah, the spider shot is on target, bashing up and dashing into the cell. He got it first try.
Textbook. That was pure textbook. He is closing in on his PB. He's actually only 2 seconds behind at the last tree, so it'll be interesting to see his delta on this feather. This is very exciting. We could see a PB.
Yeah, and here we go. Evooki also doing a great job getting to Stomp Tree. Now he's on his way out. Yep, just passing by the Rhino, and so we're going to see how he does being able to get through the skips that MrRandomson did a textbook clinic on a little bit earlier.
You forgot the frog a little bit. Oh, no! Oh! That is a very costly death. Usually a player would take 1 or 2 saves on the way to that area, so the fact that he didn't do that shows either a forget of a save or he just felt really comfortable with that movement. Unfortunately, pays the price. Yeah, it's so tough. And now we see MrRandomson over in Sorrow Bash, and he gets through first try, so it's not over yet, folks, because if he takes any, I'm gonna say it, takes any damage in Sorrow, he could end up losing this excellent pace he's on. And the frog! Oh no. Is he choosing to take another frog? Wow.
Alright, so what he's gonna have to do is bash block this frog up, because we need this frog in order to be able to break destructible ceiling here. But yep, rocket jumping up, gets the frog shot, it's going up. Yeah, taking a little bit of safety energy as well. And then the rocket jump up.
Oh no!
It's the curse! Going on? I'm so sorry!
You just had to say the damage. Now he's infinited in Sorrow. This is not good for Randomson. On the opposite side, Evooki is doing well, and he's quickly approaching the area which he's in, so any more mistakes, and he will let Evooki catch up.
Alright, so MrRandomson taking a big death. Having to do Sorrow Batch again, but just putting on a textbook trial on how to do it well. And yeah, now he's in, and he's not setting up a safety save. The madman going through the Sunship Sanctuary. Any lick of the Sunships will be instant death, but he's able to get through and setting up the ghost. Oh no, he doesn't have the energy.
And on the right-hand side, unfortunately, we do see the Kuro cutscene, and that means he didn't get the skip. He'll lose around 17 seconds, so unfortunately puts him at a little bit more of a deficit.
Oh man! All right, bringing things back. It looks like Evooki is going to be heading through the Spider Cove in order to try his chance at getting the 5th energy cell, as we see MrRandomson doing a save. No, Evooki! No. Oh. Wow, nice safety save though from Evooki, and like that, those spikes down there are instant death. Doesn't matter how much health you have, one touch of those and you're dead. But MrRandomson, nicely done with the blind movement, going to be leveling up an ability in order to. Oh no, did he fail Terror Break?
Ooh.
Oh no. Oh, okay. So Mr. Yeah, so he saved a little bit low, I think, on the glide, or just a little bit out of position. So. Oh, luckily, it took him back all the way to charge jump tree, LO, so not too much of a time loss, but he had to go to a backup save on the same file, because the same file makes a bunch of different saves as you go through, and sometimes they can be really, really far away. But luckily, he just had to go back on a save that he achieved earlier, and he's not too far away.
Yeah, it's very frustrating with RE saves. You never know which one's actually going to hold, so if you ever need to go back, you never actually know which place you missed one. But he manages to get it second try, so he'll just be floating up to here and getting the Sunstone, which is what is needed to get into the final dungeon.
Yeah, absolutely. So now Evooki also making it to Sea Flame Tree, being able to conquer the section that he took an unintentional death in. Nicely done. But now he's going to go up, skip a cutscene, and then also head to Valley himself. So we're going to see if Evooki's also going to be able to have the same luck, and hopefully not the same misfortune that MrRandomson was occurring in Sorrow and whatnot.
Yeah, well, let's hope we don't see any trickery from those frogs, which can just give you a lot of hassle there. I think MrRandomson is now leaving Sorrow, and he will be happy to see the back of it. the amount of struggle that has been in this Sorrow Pass has been pretty harsh.
Yeah, a joke into the community is that we're actually renaming it to Happiness Pass because it's like it's so late in the run, and once you actually get a PB or something on PB pace while entering this, it's just everything's instant death in there. But nicely done from MrRandomson. He's going to escape and accidentally rocket jump in the opposite direction that he wants to head. So a little bit low on energy, a little bit low on health, but yeah, placing the safety save. He might pick up this energy crystal. Yeah, he is. Yeah.
It's too high for you to stomp. It's giving him a little bit of trouble.
Oh, I love this. Like, run away from the experience. It's like, I'm gonna get you.
Misty is the worst place for it. We're moving so fast in here, it's hard for, like, the XP and energy crystals to actually follow you. You're moving that quickly.
Yeah, so awesome. Nice movement so far from MrRandomson. Nailing some really precise angles and tricks and whatnot in order to get up there. Seeing a little bit of lag on Evooki's side of the stream, but don't worry about it. He's going to go up for his attempts at Fast Stompless now.
I don't believe he does go for Fast Stompless. Oh! So we will be seeing the normal way of doing this. So he's... Oh, no! When did
where's that going to send him? Oh, the way back to the Spirit Well. Wow, that's brutal, Ella.
That is very costly. You can take a safety save just where he was going to die there. So there's a teleporter where you collect feather and you can just refill your energy there. Some runners choose to take that safety save because of what just happened to Evooki.
Yeah, looking at the instant replay in the bottom left, we see MrRandomson taking a little bit of...
Spooky
no,
spikes.
he didn't. He got through there very cleanly. Nicely done from MrRandomson. And so now he's going to be going to the second half of Misty, which has some really technical movement, Ella.
Yeah, dare I say, this is the one place where you can take damage very, very easily. Oh, we see a lovely meteor kick from that frog there. Not many runners actually go for that, so it's nice to see it anyway.
Yeah, and that frog instantly killing his friend, the Frankie. That was pretty great. But yeah, we see MrRandomson going through all of these spiky pits. Nice glide there, but oh, that's right, he's surrounded by spikes. Oh, it takes a little bit of pain, but he's gonna get through. Don't worry about it. I believe. Yeah, safety save. Nice, dude.
So the full health coming into play there. We only take 3 damage on any of these spikes, so ooh, he's at 1 health again because of that damage. Saving actually give him 1 health, so if he takes any more hits on the way up to the mini boss, he will die.
Yeah, this is going to be really tight, and now he's heading in, charge dashing in. Let's see how he does in the mini boss on the left, placing another safety save for a little bit more health. And, oh, not quite the fast cycle, but that's okay. Just one more stop, and he's able to get. And because he leveled up, full health, full energy.
It was a very interesting dash there. I don't know if that was intentional. You do have to do a lot of inputs very quickly to kill that boss very quickly. And that dash was not intentional in the strat that I know and use, so it might have just been a mispress.
Yeah, for sure. And so here we're going to see MrRandomson now exiting Misty. He only has 1 more skill tree left, Elo, and then he's going to be able to head towards Horu Fields to try and get to the final escape. But wow, Evooki making leeway now and getting into Valley. He has to now do his own attempts at managing through Sorrow after stomping these rocks, which is going to start a cut.
Yeah, this point in the game is probably the most difficult for newer runners because Sorrow Pass is just ridiculous. The setup that you have to get through there is troubling, so it'll be interesting to see if Evooki has any troubles with this or he can do it first try.
Yeah, and so here we go, MrRandomson doing a little bit of difficult to see movement, not quite blind, but he's trying to get through these 2 laser cycles, and yeah, he's gonna play it safe and just wait for the second laser. He didn't quite like his timing on getting through there. And wow, some nice C dashes on this Baneling, which would instant death with 1 tiny little misstep. Is gonna bring him into his next cutscene skip and lead him to his final skill tree.
Yeah, it was interesting that he didn't rocket jump up there. He might not have had the energy, I wasn't really counting, but rocket jump was probably quicker to get up there, but we saw some very, very nice C-dashes and bashes on that Baneling. And we're going to see a great... Oh, he gets it perfect. Yes. Oh, no, he just hits the wall. You can actually go all the way through there. if you get that jump in time. But that was amazing to see. Oh, it looked like he went in that laser. That was spooky.
Yeah, that was really spooky as well. You can like dash through the lasers like a fraction of a second before the sprite actually disappears. And ooh, Evooki having a little bit of trouble here getting into Sorrow Pass, but that's okay. He has a safety save right up there, and he's going to be able to get through as MrRandomson heads through the Indiana Jones escape sequence.
Yeah, it looked like those birds kind of all ganged up on him. He fell a little bit down, and 4 of them just bashed into him. And unfortunately, he takes a little bit of a death on the spikes there. His setup was just a little bit low on that bird, and the bird died, and he decided to follow it to Valhalla. I imagine they're all Norse birds. They look it to me.
They look Norse to me. Alright, here we go, MrRandomson picking up the final health cell that he wants to collect. This is a little bit of safety for the final escape, because that's right, water's still poisonous because we skipped the Ginso tree escape, but getting over this instant death lava field is going to be super important. Yeah, nice C dashes in order to get over there, and then heading into the final escape, and yeah, gets over the Baneling.
The Baneling has taken so many lives recently.
It's
terrifying at the moment. It can do 6 damage, so it pretty much kills anyone regardless of your health.
Yeah. And now MrRandomson's going to go for another one-frame trick known as Door Warp. He's going to be trying to re-enter the scene on the moment he gains control of Ori. So let's see. He gets it first try. Wow.
Very nice. It's just such a ridiculous trick. Sometimes lots of people get lag there as well, which can just affect it even more. It's already super difficult, and then you just throw in a little bit of connection problems, and you can't get it ever. So first try is so good to see. Let's see if we can go under the sea and survive the evil fishes that try and kill us there.
Yeah, hopefully we're not going to repeat Anakin's betrayal today, LO. And so here we go, MrRandomson C-dashing through the final escape. All this lava deals lots of damage, and so he's going to try and avoid everything. Also, the fire and the spiky spikes and the fire elementals and stuff also are super, super scary. But here we go, making it through the first 2 sections, getting over these fire. Here we go. Here's the poison water swimming section with 6 health. This is a lot easier and more forgiving. So we're going to see him get through. Yep, no Revenge of the Fish today. Episode 3 skip was successful.
Nice. So now there's just the final trick of the game to go. It's a very, very precise grenade jump. If he gets the position wrong, he can softlock the game. He fails it on the first try. Let's see if he gets it on the second. Beautiful second try. Doesn't get the softlock. GG to MrRandomson. I would like to point out that Evooki, beyond his troubles with Sorrow Pass, has managed to make it through, just going through the Dorito Cave. And hopefully, with no deaths, he's put a safety save, so it doesn't really matter if he does, gets to the Ghost Door, and will pick up Charge Jump.
Nicely done from Evooki. That feather section is actually a lot more difficult than it looks, and so being able to get through Sunchip Sanctuary without trying to lick any of the delicious sun chips was a really smart decision on his part.
There's been so many names for this area, it's hard to crack.
You know Sunchip Sanctuary is the best.
It does have a lot of S's. It's so, so good.
Yeah. And we have time for MrRandomson with a 34.09. GG to him. He's going to be taking another win in this bracket. Not quite improving his overall race time, but you know what? Solid performance. Without that Sorrow, he would have been super close to a PB and able to clinch out probably a really nice time. But I'm sure he's still proud of this performance today. Nice recovery by him.
Yeah, definitely. There was literally only that Sorrow that gave him troubles. And barring that, it was pretty much a spot-on run. He definitely would have PB'd without that trouble in Sorrow.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to see if we can bring him in for an interview if we have time after Evooki's going to be finishing out his run as well. But Evooki now trying to make his way through the Sunchip Sanctuary again, but in the reverse order in order to be able to set up his own Terror Break. Let's see if he's going to be able to get this first try.
Yeah, he has been. Ooh, looks good. Now he just needs to fly using the wind, level up an ability at the correct time. Ooh.
Oh.
He didn't feel like that went correctly.
Uh-oh, so he's probably gonna try and back up a save. We're gonna see where this save is from him. Please don't be outside of Sorrow.
He did rekindle his save there. I'm not sure if it would have kept that one. And we're going to go back to Charge Tree, so that's not bad at all.
Oh, yeah, thank goodness. I have had runs where it's just like you have to do Sorrow Bash again, and then it's just like, oh, dear goodness.
No.
Ooh.
He is tempted by the sun chips and tries to take a bite of one of them, and unfortunately they take a bite out of him.
Yeah, that's tricky. Like, you never would expect that. The chips themselves also have mouths and teeth and whatnot. That's really kind of weird. Why are you trying to eat those sun chips? Oh my goodness. All right.
Let's be big.
Here we go.
Number 2.
Attempt number 2 on the Terror Break.
Do you think we're going to do it?
I believe in Evooki. Take my energy.
Take all of our energy, Evooki.
But not my ability points. Because I'm
I need those cool abilities, man.
I need them to skip more pointless cutscenes or wait times on doors.
Or to breathe underwater so you can take a longer bath.
Touche. All right, here we go with the charge jump. And he's able to break the floor.
Nice. So he is choosing to do a little bit different from what we saw of MrRandomson. He is not carrying the SAOP here, which means you will have to spend an extra energy point, which will give him 1 less to manipulate his way through Misty Woods.
Yeah, and so he's going to drop another save up here, and then he's going to do another save anywhere in order to jump into the cutscene in order to skip that one as well.
Yeah, we've seen some pretty disastrous cutscene skips here in the last tournament. I can remember a few people who just kind of missed it. They had to watch the entire cutscene. It's not a good thing. It is one of the longest cutscenes, so being able to skip it is quite the luxury.
Oh my goodness, as well. We're seeing some frame rate issues with Evooki's stream, guys. Don't worry, we are keeping track of his correct time. The stats guys in the back are able to keep track of that. So the timer that you see on your screen is not entirely correct just because of the free stream. But don't worry, guys. Evooki is still making great pace through this area.
Yep, and fortunately, we're seeing a little bit of loading times, which kind of puts Ori off screen and allows you not to go to the next point, but he will be leaving the horrible sorrow pass, or happiness pass, as Muffing referred to it later, and we'll be going into Misty. I think he'll be quite happy to see the back of this place, as Randomson was.
Yeah, Sorrow causing trouble for both of our runners today. It's no surprise. This area is extremely difficult and very, very easy to have tiny little slip-ups that cost you a lot of time. But here we go. Vuki's making it back through. Yeah, nice. Feathering to slow himself down in order to be able to get through there, and he gets the meteor kick.
That was so good. He actually did that without a bash, which is very challenging. I've tried to do it myself a few times, and I always opt to do the bash. It costs 20 frames, and you get it every time, but that is quite a difficult thing to go for, the bashless meteor kick.
Yeah, what a showcase from Evooki, just showing how comfortable he is. Even though his time isn't necessarily as competitive overall on the leaderboard, that he is still super comfortable with mechanistically insanely difficult stuff. And ooh, unfortunately there, just a slight misstep. He wasn't able to cancel out his C-dash in time, and that ended up causing his rocket jump to kill Frankie instead. But ooh, nice backup from him in order to be able to still ascend quite quickly as well.
So I have just heard from the team that we might be getting Randomson in just for an interview quite soon, just because of time restrictions. So we will be taking that interview very shortly, whenever he comes into the channel.
Excellent. Yep. And so we're going to see if we can get him in for an interview. But that being said, Evooki is still working through Misty Woods.
Yeah, very, very scary place. It'll be interesting to see if he puts down a safe before doing the dreaded fall down the spikes, which has taken so many PBs and lives, but he's opting not to. They'll put him quite far back if he takes a death through here, but he manages to get through there perfectly. Wow. And just needs to break the ceiling and make his way to the climb tree.
Wow, nicely done from Evooki, being able to make it to the climb tree. And now he only needs one more skill, but that being said, he's going to have to travel all the way back through the second half of Misty Woods in order to be able to get out.
Yeah, and he's got no light grenades to help him do crazy movements through it like some madmen.
Yeah, and there he goes. And ooh, just a slight misstep falling down. It takes a little bit of damage. And he doesn't get out of the spikes. But don't worry, the climb tree is still there, and that's a save point. So not too much time lost. That was pretty early in the sequence.
So as you see Evooki
falling
move
down, it takes a
through
little bit of
Misty
damage.
Woods.
Ah, and he doesn't get out of the spikes. But don't worry, the climb tree. Yeah, and so there we go. But that being said, guys, it looks like we are being joined by the victor of this race, MrRandomson. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Playing the prologue.
Nicely done.
Everyone loves the prologue.
Yeah. That being said, congratulations on your win today. When you were sort of going through your early game, what was sort of going through your head?
Well, I noticed my game was acting a bit weird. Nothing too major, but it messed with my head a bit.
Yeah. So, did you just like accidentally collect the ceiling flower experience, or do you just generally go for the damage boost without collecting any experience from the spores on your way down to wall jump?
That is what I would call a brain fart.
Oh no.
Yes, in a real situation, it's kind of hard to keep track of everything, so just dropping a couple of experience there. It didn't cost you too much time, which was good to see. One main question that I have was, how were you feeling? I know you were watching the restream, correct?
Up until Dash, I had to shut it down because, well, it was acting weird.
Oh, okay, so you didn't see how far away you were, or
No.
far ahead you were. Okay, because we were informed that you were on PB pace, so I assume that would quite affect your nerves, which may describe what we've seen in Sorrow, maybe, if you could shed some light on that?
I don't play with my splits in the turning.
Uh-huh.
Oh, nice.
I didn't actually know.
Well, I'm sorry to be the one to inform you, but Feather, you were actually ahead of your PB by 1 second.
Oof.
Yeah, and then I ruined everything by saying damage while you were in Sorrow.
Muffin comment.
I'm so sorry. Please forgive me.
All his fault.
Oh man, that being said, are there certain parts of the run, Randomson, that you like to focus on for preparing for your tourney matches, since you are sort of shying away from your PB splits? Are there like any sort of strats you do differently, like placing extra safety saves, or?
Well, that depends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually always nervous for my races, but sometimes I'm
yeah.
extra nervous. So this time, with my game acting weird, I placed a few extra safety saves.
Yeah, that's a really good decision making. I like that adaptation from you.
Yeah, completely understandable. Quite a lot of people generally take more safety saves anyway, so when their game is screwing up, I imagine that is the reaction most people would take, so I can't blame you for that.
Oh, yes. So with this win, MrRandomson, you're up another victory. Do you have any more matches left in your group stage, or?
No, this was the last one, I think.
Wow, nicely done. Congratulations on finishing out 2-1 in the group stage. It's actually going to set you up in the winner's bracket. Nicely done.
Thank you.
That being said, it looks like now Evooki is going to be heading in for his own light grenade pickup as well, and so he's going to be traveling down. We're going to see if he's going to be able to get through these laser cycles, as we saw MrRandomson be able to make it through. And oh no, just a little bit of a mistime. He's going to take a death, but don't worry, he had a save like right up above, and so he's going to try and pace his movement a little bit differently as he's heading through.
Yeah, it's nice to actually see this place, because MrRandomson did a crazy essay here, so you can see all of the things that MrRandomson was actually trying to avoid and successfully doing so. A lot of runners choose not to do that essay, as it saves around 0.5 seconds, I believe, and it just makes everything so much more dangerous.
Yeah, I love doing that save anywhere. It feels so good. But yeah, that being said, it looks like he made it past the lasers this time, so he's going to be, just doing the 2 charge jump method and then C-dashing up to the bird and placing another save down here in order to do a save anywhere to skip the cutscene as well.
Yeah, that pesky bird was trying to come up so he couldn't save, but he did manage to bonk into the wall, and we saw Evooki make the save. And he's a little bit late on the exit, but he manages to get it, and the cutscene will be skipped.
Excellent, nicely done. And so picking up this final skill tree of the run for Evooki, he's going to be able to head over to Horu Fields in order to do his own attempts at skipping the entire dungeon of Mount Horu and enter the final escape. So this will be really exciting to see how well he does in the next upcoming section.
Do you reckon we're going to see any light grenade, light jump bursts out?
Oh, please. Oh, yes. I can dream. Just taking a little bit of pain. I'm not gonna say the word. I'm not gonna do it. No, the damage. No.
You were trying to refer to damage. You can't get around the curse.
No, it's impossible. The first time you say it, and then just the entire match is then cursed from here on out. But here we go. It looks like Evooki, superstition aside, is aggroing the
Baneling.
Slow motion.
That was so beautiful.
I love how like the frames dropped like right before the Baneling hit.
Baneling's trying to force him into a late laser cycle. He is dodging and weaving his way past these lasers at the moment.
Oh my goodness. I just love like the slow-mo right before these like crucial moments are happening, and so looks like he's gonna collect some extra energy, place the safety save at this Indiana Jones boulder escape sequence before picking up another health cell and heading towards Thornfeld Swamp in order to get to Horror Fields. Raziel, no!
Run away! Nice. So that can be terrifying. Quite a lot of the... I don't know when the influx was, but people have started to go down instead of up. You can go both routes. They're quite equal in speeds unless you're super fast at the top. It saves very, very little time, but you do see a lot of the runners trying to go under rather than over in this tournament.
Yeah.
Oh dear, he's taking a hit from each of those spikes. He has enough health to get through and does a lovely little rocket jump and makes his way to... Is he taking the final hell cell? I don't believe he is.
I think he will.
Let's.
Oh wait, he didn't get the Spider Cove one? I don't think. Oh, well, we're gonna see in a moment. Yeah, he does. Yeah.
A wise choice. This just makes the final escape much more relaxed.
Yeah, a lot more tolerable for sure. And so now we're going to see him charge that shop and bash off. That Baneling, yeah, the laser looks good, so he's not going to have to run away from instant death. And so here we go. We're going to see how he does getting over the lava. Oh no, it takes damage. Takes it down.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, that's rough. Nice safety save, though, right before this entire second. So he's going to re-pick up the health cell and then head across to try and do lava swim skip again. We're going to see how he does.
Yeah, unfortunately, he lost a bit of speed with the feather that he used, which means that he probably pressed a direction or it just didn't work. Generally, you'd keep your speed from the bash glide, and you just kind of lost it, which caused him to bump into that elemental. Takes another safety save there, which is nice, just in case... The same thing happens again.
And then when you're too close to elemental, it actually doesn't allow like a shot to be spawned. And Baneling! That explosion radius is a lot larger than you might think. And so he just barely got out of there as he's going to do his own attempts at door warp. Let's see how many times it takes him.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess second try. And here it comes. Is he going to get... I hope he does prove me wrong. I kind of hope that he does it on the first try, but let's just see. Dun, dun, dun.
And the door is not warped.
Oh, no. I'm very correct. It's second try. It's definitely second try.
All right. Is he going to get it second try? No, not quite.
No.
Come on, Evooki. I believe in the 11th try door warp.
Do we know the tournament's largest door warp attempt yet?
I don't know. I had it for a while in the randomizer tournament with like 9 or something, and then I had 7, and then someone got 9. I remember, and I was like, oh no, I lost the last tournament.
There was like an 18. So hopefully we don't
go
that long.
Oh no!
I think it was Raziel. Raziel got 18.
Oh, Raz!
Sorry, Raz.
Poor Raz. Evooki is struggling with this trick a little bit. This trick is so hard, guys. It's literally a 1/60th of a second trick, and if he's experiencing any lag while he's trying to do this, it makes it even more difficult and sometimes actually impossible. So we're gonna see how many more times this literally skips the entirety of Mount Horu. So very, very vital for the speed.
So it looks like he's trying to beat the attempts of Tass Snoop, which we have just been informed by our stats team was 21 tries.
Oh man, this is so brutal, Ella. This just gets in your head. Like even when you just miss it once, you're like, oh no. And then you miss it twice, you're like, oh dear goodness, no. And then when you get like third or fourth and it's still a miss, it's just, oh man. And so we see Evooki taking a little bit of a breather. There's another trick he can do known as a save drop, but unfortunately you need an ability cell for that. And then you don't have to do Dora. But wow, Evooki gets in there.
Finally. Although with Evooki, he's playing a veteran-style speedrun of the vanilla game, I imagine he would actually know that skip.
Yeah, I think so too.
A lot of the people would not.
Yeah, for sure. And so here we go. We're going to see Evooki now entering into the final escape. This is literally as scary as it looks. Things are hot, things are spiky, and you can't take any damage as you're heading towards the poison water section.
Hot and spiky. Just how we like our final escape.
Yeah, and that being said, guys, after Evooki's going to be finishing out, we're going to be taking a very, very short break and then bringing you the next match immediately after. So in about a couple of minutes after Evooki is going to be finishing his run here, we're going to showcase Delira versus He Did It. And I will be casting that with This Is Not Sully, but we'll get there as Evooki now putting on an impressive display as he's working through this final escape.
Yeah, it can be very tricky. Some of these cycles are quite hard to get, and he's getting them all as any good runner would. And it's just the final escape, which is made a little bit easier by the amount of health that he's taken. So it'll be interesting to see if the fish try and spoil his final escape. And then we've only got the grenade jump, which I believe he goes for. And here it is, the water. Will the fish say no, or will they let him pass through? Kuro almost says no. Oh, that is a very, very separated fish. And we do see a death come from there. So the fish are on a cycle, and you don't have a lot of control over it, or I've not really looked into any control over it. So if you take a little bit longer than you are usually taking, it may put the fish in different places where you're not used to them. So that is why we saw him take a lot more damage than he's used to and die.
Oh, yeah. And so here we go. We're seeing Evooki now work through. We're going to see if he's going to be able to get through this section. Laying down the feather and the double jump is so crucial to get out this elemental. And that, oh, the fire is too high. And Evooki takes a little bit of damage. And so he's going to be taking an unintentional death and has to do the final escape all over again.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. This escape is not the easiest. And if you take any damage, it's just game over because of the little health that we take. So it's not nice to see, but it happens.
Yeah, and so here we go. We're seeing Evooki now charge jump up. He's going to come up to this section again. The fire that you're going to see is actually a lot higher than it looks. And so getting through here and getting over to the elemental is actually a lot more difficult. And he gets high enough and gets the bash this time. He's going to be working over to the poison water section.
Yep, he looked like he didn't take that much time with everything, so these should be in a correct cycle, which he is used to. Hopefully we won't see another death to the water. First bash is good, and the fish is in a correct position now, so he will be able to get to the top, get out of the water, stop dying, and go on his way to the grenade jump. And we see a successful Kuro despawn, so we have no troubles, and he's free to attempt this as many times as his energy allows him to.
Yeah, and wow, gets it first try. Beautiful. Nicely done from Evooki, and it looks like time is going to be coming up for him shortly.
So I think he will be quite... I don't know how happy he'll be about that race. There was quite a few mistakes in that late mid-game, so it's not too bad. Unfortunately, he does take the loss here, and this is his first race of his group stages, so he does go 0-1, but he is up against one of the most challenging people in his group.
Yeah, a nice thing too is that Evooki still has 2 more matches in the group stage, so he still has plenty of time in order to be able to get a run that he's going to be happy with. GG, it looks like it's going to be time for Evooki, and the time that you're seeing on the board is a little bit off. He got a 55-12, so GG from Evooki.
Yep, congratulations to both runners. It was a good race.
Yeah. That being said, Elo, thank you so much for joining us, guys. We're a little bit behind, so we're going to instantaneously set up and move into the next race. My screen name is Covert Muffin, and I will see you in a few minutes for Delira versus He Did It.
Enjoy the next race.